I am Roberto Vittori of the STS-134 crew, and you are watching NASA TV.
Good morning, Endeavor, and a special good morning to you today, Drew.
Hey, good morning, Shannon. Good morning, Houston. Good morning to my beautiful family, and thanks for that fantastic song by the great Canadian rock band, the Tragically Hip. Great friends of ours, and I'm happy that my wife and kids were able to share that with me. I know they tried last time, and we were unable to get it up, but it's really great to hear that music, and it reminds me of all my friends and especially my family back home, and happy that I have the ability to actually give them a call and think about them each and every day while I'm up here. So thanks to everybody for sharing this wonderful experience with us, and we look forward to many more happy and special days up here in space.
Thanks, Drew.
This is Mission Control Houston. With that, now you've heard the Endeavor crew now awakened. That song was for Drew Feustel, played at the request of his family. That song entitled In View by the band Tragically Hip. The crew will now have some personal time for hygiene and breakfast before they start on their activities of the day, which will primarily focus on robotics as well as a focused inspection of a small area on the shuttle's underside, as well as preparations for the upcoming spacewalk.
And this view showing the position of the station's robotic arm. It's in a pre-grapple position. The restraint latches have been released on the orbiter boom sensor system. Once those, now that that's confirmed, the station's robotic arm, which is being operated this morning by Roberto Vittori and Drew Feustel. They will slowly lift that OBSS, orbiter boom sensor system, off of the right sill of Endeavor's payload bay and reposition it for the grapple by the shuttle's robot arm. For the handoff, because of where the shuttle is docked to the International Space Station, the shuttle's robot arm cannot reach across and capture the grapple pin at the end of the boom, and thus the reason for the use of the station's arm to assist with that orbiter boom sensor system swap.
And on the big loop, the SSRMS is in the OBSS handoff with the brakes on. You go for SRMS grapple. Copy.
Now that the shuttle arm has a firm grip on the OBSS, the station arm has now released the grapple pin.
For quick stowage comment.
That's at the midpoint of the OBSS. This provides a really good view of where the shuttle's robotic arm is in relation to the left wing. It's stretching down over the left side of the orbiter, and then the boom is back underneath, pointed back underneath the left wing of the vehicle. And with that orbiter boom sensor system on the end of the robot arm, it's looking all the way across the underside of the vehicle over toward the right side. It actually will be positioned with the tip or the sensor package with the laser camera system pointed about 7 feet or so away from the area of interest.
And Houston, we've got plus 85, or plus 84.8 and minus 53.6. We got the damage in the middle of the view. Do you like our view?
Checking. And Endeavour Houston, air to ground 2, while we're checking for the view, can you get brakes on for us, please?
Okay, brakes on.
Endeavour Houston, air to ground 2, a quick note about your camera alpha. We are seeing that heat up. It should give you an indication on the screen if it reaches a level that's problematic. Just wanted to let you know if you're not using it, you could power it down. And we like the view.
Okay, copy. You like the view.
And this is the view of the damage area that the tile that crosses essentially over a couple of tiles. This area is between the right main landing gear door and the external tank door on the starboard side or the right side. And again, the characterization that the damage assessment team is looking for is the actual depth of this. The imagery that was obtained on Endeavour's approach to the International Space Station was not able to give them enough data, imagery data, to provide a three-dimensional coverage, and that led to the decision to request a focused inspection for this one site.
Endeavour, how do you like our field of view for the IDC?
Checking. And Endeavour, we would like the AE box slightly smaller to just encompass the damage area.
Rocket night.
These sequential still images, the crew's adjusting the box around that will provide the highest fidelity, so they're adjusting based on the damage assessment team's input as to how small that box would be. It's essentially cropping the image down to the actual size of the damage area.
Endeavour Houston on 2. Roberto, our request now is for you to bring the box to just inside the damage area, and if possible, if you could send mid-deck to downlink, that will speed up our ability to assess the view for you. Endeavour Houston, we like the view.
Okay, copy. We'll proceed with the stop scan.
We concur.
So with the view, everybody agreeing that they like the view through the camera, the focus inspection officially could be considered beginning at 34 minutes after the hour. The positioning of it began about 25 after the hour. This closing in the black box around that damaged site will give them the highest fidelity that they can get for the damage assessment team to produce a three-dimensional image, which will allow them to very accurately determine the depth of the damage of that particular tile area.
Basically,
select scan low res.
Scan low res.
Resize and position AE box as required.
We did.
Okay. Check MCC for the field of view.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Select scan iRes.
If scanning with no RMS motion, that's the case. Select stop scan after 30 seconds.
Okay.
It's
We'll
like,
call it at 40:10.
sounds good.
And so at 40:40, I will hit stop scan.
Okay.
There are 5 different scan locations, and this is the second of those 5. Again, the different angles will allow the damage assessment team to provide a very detailed three-dimensional image after gathering all of this data on the ground.
Houston, station on Space to Ground 2. We are ready for the event.
ESA and Ozzy, this is Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
This is Thomas Reiter calling from the Focconi room in the Vatican. How can you read me?
This is International Space Station. We read you loud and clear.
Guys, it's excellent to see you. We are here in the Vatican together with His Holiness Pope Benedict XVI. We are very great to see you, and I hand over now to the head of the Italian Space Agency, Mr. Saggese.
Thank you. International Space Station, good morning. This is Enrico Saggese from Rome, Vatican. We are in the presence of His Holiness Pope Benedict XVI, and with me there is also the Air Space Commander, Air Space Chief of Staff Bernardis, Giuseppe Bernardis. And we are ready to start this historical communication. So on behalf of you and all of our friends, we thank the Pope of this historical occasion of a connection between the Vatican and International Space Station. And in order for him to know all of you, I would ask the two commanders if they are so kind to introduce themselves and the crew they command, and in particular Dmitry Kondratiev, if you can start with your people, and then Markelli, if you can start introducing your people. Over.
My name is Dmitry Kondratiev. I'm commander of the International Space Station, along with my crew here, with Paolo Nespoli, Italian astronaut, and Katie Coleman, NASA astronaut, and Andrei Borisenko, he's Russian cosmonaut, Russian Space Agency, and Alexander Samakutyaev, he's Russian cosmonaut, and Ron Garan, NASA astronaut.
Welcome aboard the space station, Your Holiness. To my left is Roberto Vittori. He's an Italian astronaut on a mission for the European Space Agency. Right behind him is Endeavour's pilot, Greg Johnson, and Greg Chamatov, one of our mission specialists who just did his first spacewalk yesterday, and then Drew Feustel, who's our lead spacewalker for this mission, who's going to do 3 spacewalks. And next to Drew is Mike Fink, who after this mission will be the American with the most time in space, and won't be approaching what the Russians have, but a lot of days in space. Welcome aboard, Your Holiness.
Thank you very much for your introduction. Then I'll give the floor to His Holiness, who would like to say a few words for all of us, and maybe some question for some of you. Thank you, over.
Dear astronauts, I'm very happy to have this extraordinary opportunity to converse with you during your mission. I'm especially grateful to be able to speak to so many of you, as both crews are present on the space situation of this time. Humanity is experiencing a period of extremely rapid progress in the fields of scientific knowledge and technical applications. In a sense, you are our representatives, spearheading humanity's exploration of new spaces and possibilities for our future, going beyond the limitations of our everyday existence. We all admire your courage, as well as the discipline and commitment with which you prepared yourselves for this mission. We are convinced you are inspired by noble ideals and that you intend placing the results of your research and endeavors at the disposal of all humanity and for the common good. This conversation gives me the chance to express my own admiration and appreciation to you, and to also collaborate in making your mission possible, and to add my heartfelt encouragement to bring it to a safe and successful conclusion. But this is a conversation, so I must not be the only one doing the talking. I'm very curious to hear you tell me about your experiences and your reflections. If you don't mind, I would like to ask you a few questions. First question, from the space situation, you have a very different view of the Earth. You fly over different continents and nations several times a day. I think it must be obvious to you how we all live together on one Earth, and how absurd it is that we fight and kill each one. I know that Mark Kelly's wife was a victim of a serious attack, and I hope her health continues to improve. When you are contemplating the Earth from up there, so you ever wonder about the way nations and people live together down here, or about how science can contribute to the cause of peace?
Well, thank you for the kind words, Your Holiness, and thank you for mentioning my wife, Gabby. It's a very good question. We fly over most of the world, and you don't see borders, but at the same time, we realize that people fight with each other, and there's a lot of violence in this world, and it's really an unfortunate thing. Usually, people fight over many different things. As we're seeing in the Middle East right now, it's somewhat for democracy in certain areas, but usually people fight for resources. And it's interesting in space, on Earth, often people fight for energy. In space, we use solar power and we have fuel cells on the space shuttle, but it's on the space station. It's the science and the technology that we put into the space station to develop a solar power capability gives us pretty much unlimited amount of energy. And if those technologies could be adapted more on Earth, we could possibly reduce some of that violence.
Second question. One of the themes you often return to in my discourses concerns the responsibility we all have towards the future of our planet. I recall the serious risks facing the environment and the survival of future generations. Scientists tell us we have to be careful, and from an ethical point of view, we must develop our conscience as well. From your extraordinary observation point, how do you see the situation on Earth? Do you see signs or phenomena to which we need to be more attentive?
Well, Your Holiness, it's a great honor to speak with you, and you're right, it really is an extraordinary vantage point we have up here. On the one hand, we could see how indescribably beautiful the planet that we have been given is, but on the other hand, we can really clearly see how fragile it is. Just the atmosphere, for instance, the atmosphere when viewed from space is paper thin. And to think that this paper thin layer is all that separates every living thing from the vacuum of space and all that protects us is really a sobering thought. And, you know, it seems to us that it's just incredible to view the Earth hanging in the blackness of space and to think that, you know, we are all on this together, riding through this beautiful, fragile oasis through the universe. And it really fills us with a lot of hope to think that, you know, all of us on board this incredible orbiting space station that was built by the many nations of our international partnership, you know, to accomplish this tremendous feat in orbit, I think, you know, that just shows that by working together and by cooperating, you know, we could overcome many of the problems that face our planet. We can solve many of the challenges that face the inhabitants of our planet. It really is a wonderful place to live and work, and it's a wonderful place to view our beautiful Earth.
My third question, the experience you are having right now is both extraordinary and very important, even if you must come back down to Earth like all the rest of us. When you do return, you will be much admired and treated like heroes who speak and act with authority. You will be asked to talk about your experiences. What will be the most important messages you would like to convey to young people, especially who will live in a world strongly influenced by your experiences and discoveries?
Your Holiness, as my colleagues have indicated, we can look down and see our beautiful planet Earth that God has made, and it is the most beautiful planet in the whole solar system. However, if we look up, we can see the rest of the universe, and the rest of the universe is out there for us to go explore. And the International Space Station is just one symbol, one example of what human beings can do when we work together constructively. So our message, I think, one of our many messages, but I think one of our most important messages is to let the children of the planet know, the young people know, that there's a whole universe for us to go explore. And when we do it together, there's nothing that we cannot accomplish.
My first question, space exploration is a fascinating scientific adventure. I know that you have been installing new equipment to further scientific research and the study of radiation coming from outer space. But I think it is also an adventure of the human spirit, a powerful stimulus to reflect on the origins and on the destiny of the universe and humanity. Believers often look up at the limitless heavens and meditating on the creator of it all, they are struck by the mystery of his greatness. That is why the medal I gave Robert as a sign of my own participation in your mission represents the creation of man, as painted by Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. In the midst of your intense work and research, do you ever stop and reflect like this, perhaps even to say a prayer to the creator? Or will it be easier for you to think about these things once you have returned to Earth?
Your Holiness, to live on board of the International Space Station, to work as an astronaut on the shuttle Soyuz or the station is extremely intense. But we all have an opportunity when the nights come to look out and more to look down on Earth. Our planet, the blue planet, is beautiful. Blue is the color of our planet. Blue is the color of the sky. Blue is also the color of the Italian Air Force, the organization that gave me the opportunity to then join the Italian Space Agency, the European Space Agency. When we have a moment to look down, beauty is the three-dimensional effect of the beauty of the planet is capturing our art, is capturing my art. And I do pray for me, for our families, for our future. I took with me the coin and I allowed this coin to float in front of me to demonstrate microgravity. I shall thank you very much for this opportunity, and I would like to allow this coin to float to my friend and colleague Paolo. He will make return on Earth on the Soyuz. I brought it with me to space, and it will take down on Earth to then give back to you.
My last question is for Paolo. Dear Paolo, I know that a few days ago, your mom has left you, and in a few days you will come back home. You will not find her waiting for you. We're all close to you. Me too, I have prayed for her. How have you been living through this time of pain on the International Space Station? Do you feel isolated and alone, or do you feel united amongst ourselves in a community that follows you with attention and affection?
Santo Padre,
Holy Father, I felt your prayers and everyone's prayers arriving up here. We're outside the world. We orbit outside the Earth, and we have a vantage point to look at the Earth, and we feel everything around us. My colleagues on board the station, Dimitri, Katie, Ron, Alexander, and Andrei, were very close to me at this important time. For me, a very intense moment, as well as my brothers and sisters, my uncles, my aunts, my relatives were close to my mom in her last moments. I'm very grateful for this. I felt very far, but also very close. And the thought of feeling all of you near me at this time has been a great relief. I also want to thank the Italian and American space agencies that have given me the opportunity so that I was able to speak with her in her last moments.
Dear astronauts, I thank you warmly for this wonderful opportunity to meet and dialogue with you. You have helped me and many other people to reflect together on important issues that regard the future of humanity. I wish you the very best for your work and for the success of your great mission at the service of science, international collaboration, authentic progress, and for peace in the world. I will continue to follow you in my thoughts and prayers, and I willingly impart my apostolic blessing.
And we all would like to thank you, Your Holiness, for your kind words.
The work you have done. Thank you very much.